To contain the Chinese aggression in Indo-Pacific and Pacific Ocean, America has deployed at least 6 aircraft carrier strike groups. One is very close to India, overlooking Gwador port off Pakistan in Arabian Sea. Second aircraft carrier is currently in Philippine Sea, sailing towards South China Sea and Taiwan Strait in Indo-Pacific. Third is in East China Sea, facing China, while 2 others are deployed in Pacific Ocean to deal with any untoward eventuality. If this is not enough to deter China, then there are other 82 US warships underway. Any Chinese miscalculation of over-aggression towards Taiwan in South China Sea or at Indian LAC can be catastrophic for Chinese. Stay tuned till end of the video to see a glimpse of power that dwarfs any Chinese claims of military superpower. Any strategic miscalculation can drag Dragon to the verge of extinction like dinosaurs. This is the latest current deployment of US carrier strike groups as on 24th May 2021. The US Navy currently fields 9 expeditionary strike groups and 10 carrier strike groups in addition to surface action groups. ESGs allow America to provide highly movable and self-sustaining naval forces for missions in various parts of the world. Expeditionary Strike Group ESG America is currently located in Sasebo, Japan in East China Sea, while mighty carrier strike group led by aircraft carrier Ronald Regan is quickly moving towards Taiwan Strait and South China Sea, where it will conduct freedom of navigation exercise. The US Navy's only forward deployed aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan CVN-76 and its strike group departed Commander Fleet Activities Yokosuka Seafay on May 19 to support security and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. Nuclear-powered Nimitz-class USS Eisenhower, also known as CVN-69 or IK, is deployed in North Arabian Sea facing Gwador port in Pakistan. Carrier Air Wing 3 and IK's escorts are operating in North Arabian Sea after arriving in US Central Command in early April to support the ongoing anti-ISIS operation Inherent Resolve. The White House has set a September 11, 2021 date to complete a troop withdrawal from Afghanistan, and it's unclear what the carrier presence in the region will look like after the deadline. US top commanders believe China's friend Iran's behavior and the ongoing review of US world military presence would determine how carriers would operate in the Middle East after the Afghanistan withdrawal. The Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group completed exercise Northern Edge 2021 and is now off the coast of San Diego before ending its deployment later this week. Carrier Air Wing 11 squadrons have returned to their home fields. Aircraft carrier USS Harry S. Truman CVN-75 is out of maintenance from Norfolk Naval Shipyard and is underway in the Virginia Capes for sea trials. USS Abraham Lincoln is also somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, perhaps to deal with any Russian threat if Russia comes to help China in case of a conflict with China. The most significant of these deployments is the forward deployment of Carrier Strike Group led by aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan. US Navy, however, termed the deployment a routine deployment. During this routine at sea period, Ronald Reagan, its strike group ships, and the embarked Carrier Air Wing 5 are expected to work with allies and partners, promote adherence to a rule-based international order, as well as maintain presence and flexibility to meet the needs of the US Department of Defense. Ronald Reagan successfully completed sea trials in preparation for deployment on May 13th. Captain Fred Goldhammer, commanding officer of the Ronald Reagan, says, Ronald Reagan's flexible presence is a key element in helping assure our regional allies and partners that the United States remains committed to ensuring freedom of the seas. Across the globe, the crew aboard Ronald Reagan seeks to preserve peace through strength and is ready to answer the call. Sailors manned the rails in summer white uniforms as the ship pulled away from the pier. Rear Admiral Will Pennington, Commander Task Force 70 Carrier Strike Group 5, says, the Ronald Reagan Carrier Strike Group is excited to deploy and assume the watch during a time of unprecedented activity throughout the region. Our team has worked hard to prepare for this moment. Alongside our regional allies and partners, we are ready to respond to any contingency in any location to demonstrate our shared commitment to regional stability and adherence to international norms. Ronald Reagan Carrier Strike Group also includes the Ehrlich Burke-class guided missile destroyer USS Halsey DDG-97 and the Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser USS Shailesh CG-67. The Ronald Reagan Carrier Strike Group is forward deployed to the US 7th Fleet Area of Operations in support of a free and open Indo-Pacific region. The US 7th Fleet is the largest numbered fleet in the world, and with help of 35 other maritime nation allies and partners, the US Navy has operated in the Indo-Pacific region for more than 70 years, providing credible, ready forces to help preserve peace and prevent conflict. In November last year, the Carrier Strike Group, led by USS Ronald Reagan, completed a 159 days long sea patrol during which it had carried out freedom of navigation exercises in South China Sea and Taiwan Strait. People's Liberation Army raised objections for sailing through disputed Taiwan Strait. USS Ronald Reagan, also known as CVN-76, is a Nimitz-class nuclear-powered supercarrier in the service of United States Navy. As the ninth ship of her class, she is named in honor of Ronald W. Reagan, President of the United States from 1981 to 1989. She was built at Newport News Shipbuilding in Newport News, Virginia, and was commissioned on 12 July 2003. Ronald Reagan made 5 deployments to the Pacific and Middle East between 2006 and 2011 while based at Naval Air Station North Island. In October 2015, Ronald Reagan replaced USS George Washington as the flagship of Carrier Strike Group 5, the only forward-based Carrier Strike Group home-ported at Yokosuka, Japan, as part of the United States 7th Fleet. Since 2016, Ronald Reagan has embarked on short annual summer patrols of the Western Pacific in the United States 7th Fleet Area of Operation. The contract to build Ronald Reagan was awarded to Northrop Grumman Newport News Shipbuilding and Dry Dock Company in Newport News, Virginia on 8 December 1994, and her keel was laid on 12 February 1998. The budget for the ship had to be increased several times, and ultimately $4.5 billion was spent on her construction. This included a redesigned ship island. Ronald Reagan was christened by Reagan's wife Nancy on 4th March 2001 at Newport News Shipbuilding. The crew moved aboard on 30th October 2002 and the ship was commissioned on 12 July 2003 at Naval Station Norfolk with Captain J.W. Goodwin in command. USS Ronald Reagan is the first aircraft carrier and the first nuclear-powered warship of any type to be named in honor of a living former president. With these deployments of just a few carriers of one of many adversaries, China should not pity of herself for misjudging its adversaries. Hope you liked the video. Please share and subscribe National Defense. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.